Hey everyone, welcome to Be the Change. My name is Lily Mott, and today I'm going to be talking about how change comes when you inspire yourself. My guest today is Rupsha Mitra, and she is a student, poet, and writer. I really enjoyed learning about her work, so without further ado, let's dive into this conversation featuring Rupsha Mitra.
So I am Rupsha Mitra from Kolkata, India. I'm a student. I studied psychology from Calcutta University and presently I'm studying English literature. And I am very passionate about mental health and I write about marginalized communities. I'm a poet and writer. And I have written a book recently. It is a poetry book. It is called Smoked Frames and it is about psychological concepts, identity, love, and different aspects of the self. There are two sections to the book. One section is called The Passage to the Self, or it's called exactly, I don't remember, but it is something to do with the self. And the other one is called A Passage to Bharat. So, one is about India and Indian culture, and the other section is about the self. And this is what I do. I mostly write poetry about the marginalized sections of society, about psychology, about mental health, about my experiences with mental health and how I perceive mental health. So that is all about me.
That is a great way to get started, and thank you so much for sharing your background. Can you tell me a little bit more about what got you inspired to get started with this work? What was that journey like for you?
It was a journey right from childhood because I was very much interested in poetry. Right from my childhood, I used to write in Bengali. It is my mother tongue. So I used to write poetry in Bengali about womanhood and politics. And later, during the lockdown, I was feeling very lonely and I wanted a place to write, express my emotions. And I started to publish my work in 2020 during the lockdown, and I'm very grateful to the publications for publishing my work. They slowly started accepting my work. It was very difficult to get my work placed in different journals in the beginning, but slowly I got acceptances from publications. So it really inspired me to continue further. I got good comments from different authors and different editors about my poetry. And it was a lockdown poetry contest that occurred during lockdown. It was in India. It was conducted by Ishi magazine. So it was judged by Ekta Kapoor and the publisher of Ishi, and also Arundhati Subramaniam, and they chose my work as one of the special mentions. So that meant a lot to me, and that inspired me to continue further with my writing. And that is how I try to develop my writing and try to focus more on poetry and started publishing my work more and more. And my psychology professors, I'm very grateful to them for imparting the knowledge of psychology to me and mental health to me so that I understood the importance of mental health. And being a person who has suffered from mental health issues, I wouldn't say it is suffering. It's more to deal with it and to accept it and to understand it's okay to not be okay. And that inspired me to write about mental health. So that's all about it.
Thank you so much for sharing your background. And I think it's so amazing that you've had all of these supportive people in your life and they've been encouraging you. So, as far as the way that you're doing your advocacy and you're writing poetry and you're writing books, what impact are you hoping that these works have on your audience? What are you hoping that people take away from reading your work?
Yes, so I feel that the impact that people would have through my work is to understand that what is mental health and how to take care of it. They would understand more about psychology and that we need to take care of ourselves and our mental health as well as our physical health. So our mental health is as important as physical health, and also to understand concepts which are quite very rare concepts and things which are stigmatized in India, particularly like psychosis and schizophrenia and different aspects of neurosis as well. So to make people understand that also, I feel that would make an impact, that would be through my poetry, that it would make an impact on people, and to understand that it is okay to not be okay, and it is all right to have negative thoughts, but again, to recover from it is also a process, and a healing process to be understood by people, that people can heal through poetry, and people can heal through expressing themselves through poetry. That is also one of the impacts that I feel that my work should have on people.
I think that is so important. So, I would also love to know your hopes for the future with this work. Are you hoping to continue to write poetry and books? What does the future hold for you?
Yes, so I feel like I should continue writing poetry, and I want to work more and more in understanding the concepts of psychology and mental health. And I want to work as an advocate of mental health through my poetry. And that is how I can work on more books. I have been working on a book of psychology, which has poems of mental health and my experience with it. So, and it is also has an interwoven concept of love. So I feel that that can also be inspirational and also very attractive to people to understand poetry and to get to know about mental health. So I feel that in this way, by writing more poetry, I can inspire people and I can be inspired myself.
I think that is so inspiring, and it's great for people out there who may be poets or writers and they need that push to share their work and keep writing. And I think your story is just great for them to hear. So, I have one more question for you. Lots of young people want to make change and make a difference, but they may not know where to get started with that work. What advice do you have for those people who may be listening?
Yes, definitely. So I would be like, do appreciate your voice and work in the field that you find the most interesting and you are most passionate about, and know that what change you want to make, and that change would come eventually. And you have to work for your passion and work hard no matter what. Whatever people say, don't listen to them, but listen to whatever good advice they have to give, obviously, but don't listen to any negative comments or anything, and work hard for yourself and work towards your passion. The change will be brought about eventually.
I really enjoyed this conversation with S. Rupsha Mitra, and I think she is so inspiring, especially for people who are interested in writing and poetry and expressing yourself in those ways. I want to quickly highlight one of the phrases that she said in our conversation because I thought it was great advice. You have to inspire yourself. You should be striving to inspire yourself with the work you're doing. And I think that is a great motivator for activism, advocacy, or any other form of change making. I think we can all keep that advice in mind. Change comes when you inspire yourself. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and you can find S. Rupsha Mitra on Instagram at srupsha underscore 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 to get connected with her, and I also included that link in the description of this episode. If you want to talk about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at Be the Change Media Network. I am working on expanding Be the Change Media Network, which means bringing you more inspiring stories from amazing guests. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could leave the podcast a rating and a comment because it will help these stories to reach, educate, and inspire more people. I would also love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Tune in for my next episode, but until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys.